to infinity and beyond.
What's up, everyone? It's Roger and James here from Infinity and Beyond, your weekly Disney video game podcast. On today's show, we're going to be talking about The Incredibles, joining a couple of different games. We're also going to be talking about the Star Wars Hundo Bundle or Hubble Bubble. I don't know how you pronounce that one, but it's
Bubble.
Hubble Bubble. Some strawberry flavored. We're also going to be talking about a few other little bits and pieces from the financial things of how Disney Infinity has affected Disney, and a few other little bits and pieces. So, James, how's your week been?
It's been a busy week for me. A lot of moving about and running from places to places, lining up, writing a lot of paperwork as I'll be moving in the next couple of weeks. And I know that you just did that yourself.
Yes, it's the joy.
So you know all about
the joys of still having boxes unpacked months later.
I'm pretty sure I still have boxes unpacked from when I moved here.
Yes.
So
yeah, no, it's never a good thing. So what have you been playing this week?
Let's see. I played a little bit of Disney Magic Kingdoms. I've been playing Marvel Heroes, and I played the Lego Dimensions Batman Lego pack.
Yeah.
And I was highly disappointed with that one. I think they kind of rushed it out the door. The movie was good. Yeah. The movie itself was good, but the Lego pack. I mean, obviously we're not here for Lego Dimensions. It's not what we focus on, but I would be hard pressed to recommend this to any Toys to Life fans at all.
Ooh, yikes! Yeah, we're going to talk about this on an episode coming up later because we don't know when it just in case. But yeah, I must admit, it was the one set I was interested in that set right from the beginning. However, I'll be honest, having had some of the other sets recently before Christmas, I've just been like, I've kind of lost interest in that game for it. But because I got another Lego game to play instead.
Indeed.
So yeah, I've been playing more Kingdom Hearts 2. Dream Drop Distance into the final world now, just kind of working my way through some of the bosses. Disney Magic Kingdoms, and I'm playing a little bit more sort of, what was it, Frozen Freefall 2 or whatever, the Icy Shot, whichever. That's becoming a little bit of a favourite, and trying to unlock Incredibles character on the on Disney Crossy Road, but that's not really going too well. And a little bit of Marvel Heroes as well, and a bit of WWE, and yeah, so they kind of been. I've been at one of those weeks where I don't feel like I've really got anything done in any game, but just kind of tinkering around in them and not really kind of getting very far in it. But no. So let's jump into some of the news. So first off, let's mention there Lego, since we're on. Lego Indiana Jones is now backwards compatible on the Xbox One from the 360 version. I literally have ordered that one off of eBay because it was, actually, I've ordered it online because it was like £6 for the second-hand copy on disc or £20 for the digital copy. I mean, it's just like $20.99 for a 10-year-old game on Xbox. Just was like, nope. It was just, I don't know where that price come from.
This is one of those weird things with Lego games. Like, we see it all the time. Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Harry Potter. The company that produces them wants us to believe, yes, these are at least a $20 value, even 15, 20 years later. And they're not. And game stores don't have them for nearly that much.
No,
and
I mean,
you can get the PC versions of these, the Steam versions of these, you can get regularly for less than $2 or $3 a copy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing of it's cool. I mean, I'm going to be playing for it. I'll probably do a let's play on that later once it arrives. I mean, I got it on the PlayStation 2, and I've played a little bit of it, but it was a game I missed because it was that thing of it came out at the wrong time. I think I was actually out traveling at that point. But generally, yeah, it's cool. Good to see them doing it. I was surprised to see them do this because it felt like they were just going down the report kind of Harry Potter collection kind of thing that they might have done. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they'd done that, but no, they've gone backwards compatible, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I gotta guess that maybe they wanted to do Harry Potter backwards compatibility / updating it because there was a new Harry Potter movie, the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Whereas Indiana Jones, I know there's a fifth one that's been in development hell for a while, but you know they probably don't feel that it's worth updating it when there isn't a movie to tie it into immediately.
I also feel, as much as they did the Fantastic Beasts Lego Dimensions pack, I do wonder if they looked at it and went, they don't think they weren't as confident in it, so they needed to get something else out the door just to make a little bit more money for them that quarter, which again, probably what Batman seems to have done the exact same thing.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's kind of that one there. Games with Gold is out this month, and what we said last time includes The Force Unleashed. That's going to be coming up, I think that one's the 16th of February. If you have got Xbox Live with Gold, you'll want to pick that one up. Last month's had the Secret of Monkey Island in there. I haven't played them yet either. I've got them on my Xbox store. I finally got around to setting up my Xbox for online and plugged it onto the Wi-Fi. Even though I've been in for nearly 2 months, that was how I realised that I hadn't actually used my Xbox. And then it wanted a 6 gig download, so I didn't do anything on that. So it didn't really work. So that's been kind of working along. And like I added then, The Incredibles have been added to Disney Crossy Road. You can now get those characters. You can now get the levels. It's hard to kind of put on this one. I was just a bit like, yeah, okay. I haven't managed to unlock the characters. Again, it's that thing of, when they make a character like 79 pence or $1, I am tempted sometimes just to buy it because I can't be bothered to go through all the lottery thing of getting the G's every 6 hours and all the rest of it. When they just do a full pack for like 20 quid, it's like, nah, the game doesn't do that. It's not enough for me. If it, I'll just unlock it naturally. It's The Incredibles. It's, that movie came out a while ago. It's nice that they're adding it, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's a major point on this one.
I'm kind of surprised they released it now. I'd expect they'd probably wait a little closer to when The Incredibles 2 is coming out, but maybe they just want it available for when that's out.
Yeah, and they'll be on to Disney Crossy Roads 2 by then. Also, I'm just trying to think, as we said, it looks like Beauty and the Beast is going to be coming as the next event to Disney Magic Kingdoms. They've kind of been sort of teasing that a little bit on their social medias. And they're kind of, I think, almost basically, with the movie coming out next month, I think we can see a ton of Beauty and the Beast content coming to all the games. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if there is a few little unannounced apps and games coming as well to sort of tie in with it.
Absolutely. In the Disney universe, not counting Marvel and Star Wars, I think Beauty and the Beast is pretty much the launch of the year for them, and it's coming out soon. So, I mean, they've got Emma Watson in there. She looks great as Belle, and they're going to want to hype the heck out of this movie. So it's going to be in everything.
Apparently, cinema ticket sales are really high for this. This is up there with Marvel titles. I'm going to be totally honest. I couldn't really care if this thing even got released. I'll be honest, I'm just not feeling it. The animated one's good, but I didn't really watch it till my wife made me. I'd never seen it before. It was just a movie. When that movie came out, I was an 11-year-old boy. It wasn't what I wanted to watch. It just was. So that movie was just. So the live action version, I'm just looking at it going, the characters don't look. I don't like the look of the things. Beast just look, and Emma Watson doesn't. She's really gonna have to bowl me over on not seeing her as Hermione, because I don't think she's done a very. I think because she went off to uni, so she hasn't really done. I don't think a lot. I haven't seen her in any movies since Harry Potter, so that's hard to kind of break that. Because she didn't do it. I mean, the other two have been in other stuff since, so they've been trying to kind of break out a little bit, but she hasn't really ever really done that, I don't think.
Yeah, she's done a couple of movies. I know she had a secondary part in my Week with Marilyn, I think it was, and then she was in the Bling Ring or something like that, which looked horrible, but. I don't know. For me, I grew up with that cluster of Disney movies from Little Mermaid up through Lion King, which includes Beauty and the Beast. So for me, those were like the classic Disney movies. Yeah. So there's a lot of excitement for that for me. But at the same time, looking at the trailers, I'm kind of wondering, what does this live action movie bring to it that we didn't have in the animated? Because I don't want just a straight one-to-one conversion. This is the animated movie going into the the live action movie. So I want to see what's different about it rather than seeing all the things that are the same. And that's what they've been emphasizing so far is, there's Mr. Potts and all that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I must admit, my wife loves the original. She's not really that excited about the movies. Well, I think there's that thing. These live action ones have been a Maleficent, Cinderella, etc. They've all been a little bit, and Jungle Book. Personally, they've all just been a bit like, why are you doing something different? I don't like all these remakes for the sake of just remaking them, but that's my personal preference. We'd rather go see Logan instead that week.
I mean, I will be seeing Logan as well. I did have an interesting conversation with one of my teammates recently, and he was very upset about the fact that Logan is rated R because it means his son, who is a huge X-Men and Wolverine fan, won't get to go see it because he's like 10 or 11, and there's no way he's going to see that.
No, he can just wait 3 months and watch it on Blu-ray. He'll be fine. It won't. Let's be honest, it's still going to happen. Kids watch it anyway.
Of course. The kid's not quite old enough to be resourceful to find it on his own, but he's not going to be. It's not going to be 17 when he sees it. It'll be long before then.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. There's that thing as well of it's basically just going to be some swearing and a bit of blood. It's
based on the Red Band trailer that I saw. There's actually quite a bit of swearing. Even Patrick Stewart dropped an F1 in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, let's have a look here. See some of the other news from this week. It's kind of an odd one. Square Enix announced that there's a special pre-order bonus if you order 1.5 and 2.5 Kingdom Hearts through their store. That's the difference. So, if you want a Sora pin, that's a good way of doing it. Again, this one's been a very kind of... Pin collectors will probably be loving it. And if you're a pin collector, I'd say get the pre-order. Well, I know a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans are a little bit like, seriously, a pin again? They've already done that. They don't really. If you're not really a pin collector, it doesn't really mean a lot. I think we're getting so used to seeing all these big collector's editions with, I don't know, amiibos and T-shirts and posters and books and sort of ornaments and things. A pin doesn't really kind of feel that amazing, and the fact it's only on the Square Enix store as well. Yeah,
I think for me, it's the Square Enix store part that's kind of like, I'm not going to use your store. I'm either going to go down to GameStop or Best Buy or Amazon, and I'm going to pick it up there. I see no reason to use the Square Enix store.
I mean, I was just thinking, because price-wise, I mean, I know I've been seeing 1.5, 2.5 available for pre-order for like about £35. It's not a lot. And I'm just going to look here now. I'm guessing it's probably going to be the full $49.99 price range. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it's listed at $50 in the state. So.
Yeah, it's just coming up here. There, the $39. It's not as bad.
Okay, $39.
That's not. That's not as bad, to be honest. If it's a couple of quid, that's not too much of a difference. Again, I'm looking forward to this remix version. But yeah, so that pins. Again, I think this is kind of one of those releases that they're just kind of chucking out there because it makes sense to. People have been asking for it, and also the games will actually run a bit better on it. But hey, that's another 6 weeks away. Yeah.
I mean, judging by the 2.8, the update to Dream Drop Distance had a great frame rate and looked really good. I'm definitely expecting 1.5, 2.5 to run really well on the PS4.
Yeah, I would hope it's a PS3 game could.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's not even a PS3 game. It's a PS2 game that went to the PS3 and then went to the PS4. If it's not running at 60 frames per second, someone screwed up.
Yes.
Really badly.
Okay. Let's have a look at another bit. There was a big press release went out from Disney and Marvel, Disney running a new campaign called Heroes Come in All Sizes, which is set for spring, basically tying into all those new apps and toys and merchandise and stuff. One of the only little things that kind of caught my eye while I was going through it was it said about the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game was coming in March, because there's that game we haven't heard anything about really in months. So the fact that it's coming in March, whether or not it's just literally going to be one of those things of this is coming out next week, and they whip it up and use that game for the next two, if they do one chapter a month over 5 months, that's the whole summer, but also it kind of gets everyone nicely warmed up for Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, and absolutely, it's a good idea for them to have it out a little bit in advance of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming out so that they have product, and it's not just the first two episodes or whatever. We've seen with the most recent Walking Dead one that they're having a hard time keeping to their deadlines as it is.
Yeah.
So as many episodes of Guardians of the Galaxy as they can get out before the movie will be a good thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game. It's one of those things. I've never played a Telltale game, so this is going to be a different experience. I'm a little bit like I don't know what to expect because I've not played them. So it's just I know it's going to be very different to kind of gameplay to what I'm used to playing. But so that should be pretty cool. I'm sure we're going to start learning a little bit more about that closer to, it's Tuesday, tomorrow. That's usually the big day for sending out all the press releases. So
that is true.
Hopefully we'll find out in the next week or two. Let's have a quick look. It's like I said, there's been lots of little things this week. Here we go. Star Wars Humble Bumble free.
Bubble Bobble.
Yeah,
Star Wars Bubble Bobble.
Yeah. Hubble Bubble. Right. So there's a brand new package out on the website there. All the money's going to UNICEF. Have current years, so if you pay Walla, you will get Star Wars Knights of the Republic, Star Wars X-Wing Alliance, Star Wars X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, and also Star Wars Galactic Battleground Saga. For customers who pay more than the average price, will get Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Star Wars Starfighter, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, Star Wars Rebel Assault 1 and 2. If you pay over $14, you will also get Star Wars Force Unleashed Unlimited and Sith Edition, Star Wars Force Unleashed 2, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3D, Star Wars Shadow of the Empire, and Star Wars Empire at War Gold Pack. And if you pay over $35, you also get a t-shirt, but you've got to redeem that by March the 7th. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I totally thought I'm going to do this week. It's got 8 days left. So I think $1 for that many games on PC, Steam, you really can't go too wrong. I've been meaning to pick these games up on when they've been on like the May the 4th sale. So Humble Bundle is the best way really to do this. And as I think Shadows of the Empire is making its debut on the system, so it's pretty cool, really, all the way around.
Yep, I mean, we've already talked about Force Unleashed because that's going to be the games with gold for Xbox owners this month. But Force Unleashed 2 is a lot of fun. Rogue Squadron is a great game. I've sunk a lot of time into that. Shadows of the Empire is a very interesting choice because that was the N64 Star Wars game. And kind of, in a certain sense, a precursor to Rogue Squadron. I played that Hoth mission like a bajillion times. It's like level 2 and you have to take down the walkers and all that stuff, and I played it so many times. But I will say, even if people don't get the $14 tier, which is the one with Force Unleashed and all those, the $1 tier for Knights of the Old Republic by itself is just a crazy deal. I mean, X-Wing Alliance and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter are both fantastic flight sim games. I haven't played Galactic Battleground, so I can't speak to that. But Knights of the Old Republic for $1, it's an easily 40 to 60 hour game.
I just purchased that while you were talking there, so I've now brought it. That's why. Right, I'm just going to buy this. I've just brought the $14 pack. So there. So I've just brought my Star Wars Humble Bumble live. That's an unboxing.
I think I heard the thank you video playing back there. Just a quick note: this Star Wars Battlefront 2. We are obviously talking about the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 from quite some time ago. That said, it has held up extremely well. It is still a very good first-person shooter game, and if the new Star Wars Battlefront 2 is anywhere near as good as this, it'll be a great game. The one thing missing from this pack that would really make it excellent would be Star Wars Republic Commandos, which was the other first-person shooter game, and it's single player, but it's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, Force Unleashed 1 and 2, as you said, the Force Unleashed is on Xbox. I've played Star Wars Force Unleashed pretty much 98% completed. I have got number 2 because I picked up on the last May the 4th sale on my Xbox, and I have been meaning to play it again. It's on my back catalogue. Those 2 games are really cool. Knights, and I'm going to never play the Knights of the Old Republic, and I know everyone says how good they are. So I will probably jump in and do some bits and pieces with these and see how they run. They're all older games, so PC should be able to handle them quite nicely.
Yes.
Even just but I know like Rogue Squadron. I remember I think, and Shadows of the Empire. I am 100% confident I had that on the N64. I'm pretty sure I had both of them on the. Yeah, definitely had one of them. And I'm trying to. There was the space battles, and you were on Hoth, and you were. There was no story. You would just jump between everything. Is that right?
Shadows of the Empire had the story because
Yeah.
you followed the character Dash Rendar, who's basically a Han Solo stand-in.
Yeah.
Rogue Squadron, I mean, it had the framework of a story. It's like, we're going to go to this planet to destroy the Imperials for this reason, but we don't care what the reason is. Just destroy the Imperials, please.
Yeah, so now that's pretty cool. So like I said, I just bought that. I mean, it was like £11 something. All those games, money for charity. It's like win-win-win. I know Disney Disney Interactive were very happy that they've teamed up with them to do that package. Yeah, more of that, please. I'm quite happy. And that'll be funny, but for that price, to build up your retro collection and your Steam collection for that price, you really can't go too wrong.
Absolutely. The one thing people should keep in mind, of course, is a number of these have been on sale on Humble Bundle. There have been May the 4th sales on Steam and such like that. To the best of my knowledge, each and every one of these games has an individual key to it. So if you get stuff that you already own, you can share it with a friend or something like that as well.
Yeah.
That's not always true with Humble Bundles. Sometimes they're just like all the games, single key, and if you've got duplicates, too dang bad. This one, so like if you already had Battlefront 2 and I didn't have it, you could send it to me. I do have it, so don't send it to me. But
no.
you could.
Yeah, so that's cool. Right, okay, last bit of news really for this one. Like I said, it's been a little bit of an odd one. Disney announced their financial results for the quarter, which was December 1st. So obviously this concludes basically October, November, December. So this is the holiday season. So this is their big thing. Now, in general, they were up a little bit, down a bit in some areas. The parks were up. Movies were up because they had Rogue One. But compared to last year, they had Star Wars Force Awakens. So there were some interesting things here about video games. And they said, consumer products and interactive revenues for the quarter decreased by 23% to 1.5 billion. And I go, so that's for all toys and everything. So that's not just video games, because I was thinking 1.5 for video games would be a lot. But the decrease at our games business was due to a decrease in licensing revenue from Star Wars Battlefront, partially offset by the favorable impact of the discontinuation of our Infinity console business unit. In the second quarter of the financial year, higher minimum guarantee shortfall recognition. Star Wars Battlefront was released in the prior quarter year, whereas there was no comparable title release in that same quarter. And also, they were down a bit because of not having as much Star Wars and Frozen merchandise, and the Moana merchandise, and I think Rogue One wasn't quite cutting it the same as the previous years. So they are pretty much straight out just saying there was no Star Wars Battlefront this year, so that's why we didn't make as much money. And that's the thing; they didn't really have anything out in that quarter. They didn't. There was nothing out. There's a few. I was trying to think. They had Marvel stuff, but I don't even know if that an Alliance, but that was a bit early as well. So there wasn't really anything out other than. So it makes sense why they was down, but I'm sure in the coming years they will be making more than enough to cover it.
Oh, yes. I mean, between all the games coming out this year, they should make plenty back. Last year, I think it was pretty much all just, re-releases and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which, works better for them as long as you're not looking at the grand total, because the amount of money you spend on a re-release versus what you spend on a new release is vastly different. So
yeah.
They're making more money per dollar invested on the re-releases, but they're not going to reach those highs that they're used to.
And also, I mean, if you compare like for like year on year, 1 year you've got nothing out. Year before you've got Star Wars Battlefront, and you've got, I mean, we had Toy Box Takeover, you had Speedway, you had the Force Awakens playset, you had the Marvel characters, so there was stuff coming in on Disney, and it was still selling like that, and the game was selling. So obviously it was not a very good combination. Now that it's all interconnected with the toys line, because that's what they've done. They merged them all in together with with their toys and the merchandise. Which, on one hand, it was like that. For me, it was always that thing of when they did that. Now they're licensing out; it's less of an issue. But when they did do that originally, it was a bit like video games are still being looked at by Disney as a merchandise tie-in rather than like the studios, which are the studios almost fund the rest of the company. The movie comes out and that then trickles down through all their other businesses. Games are just considered to be part of the merchandise kind of line of things as far as they're concerned.
I mean, this is basically the same thing that LucasArts always had too, which was George Lucas was always thrilled that the Star Wars movies were great, but he held on to those licensing rights and the game and the action figure rights with like an absolute passion, and that's where he made all his money.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and Disney make a lot from their merchandise, but just in general, I mean, it was like as far as the results go, it wasn't anything too spectacular from video games kind of things because there wasn't really anything to talk about. They made a strategic judgment in dropping off Infinity, and even if they hadn't have done Infinity, I was just thinking we might have only had the Rogue One and the Moana playsets. So that meant that literally they lost their, and we've been saying it for months, they lost their opportunity. Going forward from like basically next month on, we know that we've got new titles coming constantly. So, this year it should be a lot different. But
I mean, at the very least, at the very least, we have Guardians of the Galaxy, which we now know is in March. We've got Cars 3, and we've got Battlefront 2. That's 3 more games than last year.
And Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Which have they officially announced it's this year?
Yeah, they said 2017, so I think it's
All right.
full kind of thing. So that's going to be the big one, and yeah, so there'll be probably some other things sliding in around that. Yeah, Spider-Man's the only one they haven't really kind of put a date down on it. So I'm surprised with that's a bit longer, but no, it should be good. All right, let's have a quick. I think that there was kind of all the news from the week. It was a little bit of It's amazing sometimes what comes out. The last couple of weeks, pretty momentum of a brand new game sort of announced every week. Yeah, it was, but just cool. So it's pretty cool. Also, just a reminder, if you are on PlayStation, have a look at your PlayStation Plus and pick up Little Big Planet free. Really fun game, and as I said before, there's loads of merchandise and Disney little tie-ins, and this is kind of a cool little game. But yeah, so that pretty much, I think, kind of does all the news for this week. So anything else you can think of that we've forgotten?
If we've forgotten about it, then I have well and truly forgotten about it because I don't have a clue.
No.
It's quiet at the moment.
Yes, it's cool, but it's actually kind of thing of like, it's quiet, but because I'm playing Dream Drop Distance, it's like no, I'm still in like new game, new experience mode. So it's like that was only what 2-3 weeks ago release. We know, and now I know that we've got Guardians and 1.5 and 2.5 coming out next month, and Zelda and a few other things, and I was like
some other thing.
Yeah, I must admit, if the Switch wasn't out next month, I probably would be picking up that Horizon Zero Dawn game, but it's like I haven't got time to play 2 games of that style. But no, lots of stuff going on. The video game world is kind of quite interesting. I mean, it's supposed to be a quiet time, but with the Switch about to hit, and also, I mean, this week they announced that E3 is no longer going to be business only. It's going to be open to everyone. Tickets are a bit high, but it definitely seems to be one to do. They're changing their strategy a little bit.
I just wish it wasn't in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you could bring it to Bristol, that'd be nice.
I don't care. Just bring it to Central America. I don't give a dang. Yeah. Just don't put it in Los Angeles. I hate that place. No offense to anybody in LA, but I don't like going to that city, and I'm not going there for E3.
Yeah. Not that
I could afford it anyway.
No, I think as well. I had a look the other day. The big UK event, EGX. It's like my flight to LA is on the same day. So it's like that's not going to work. So that didn't quite work out so well. But yeah, so no, that should be good. Going to be interesting to see how businesses treat it from now on, because as far as like press go, they're not going to want to be standing in line with people. You've got especially with press, if you've got a job to do and you've got work to do and you need to cover as many, there's going to be a lot. I think there'll be a lot more pre-press shows, pre-press information, special appointments and stuff for the press to be able to get in around it, and then they can use that hype from E3, because E3 has become the big hype thing, really. And I think actually moving it to sort of in some ways, it would be more sense to have one day press and the rest of the open up and kind of do it. But now they're all doing these pre-shows and appointments and stuff and special events off-site. I don't think companies need to worry about it the same way they used to.
Honestly, I think a lot of companies get more press out of the PAX conventions nowadays than they do from E3. So it's probably a good idea for E3 to open their doors a bit.
I think as well, as I think this whole thing about like Comic-Cons and events has very much proven that us geeks love going to these things, and we love queuing up, and we love seeing the new stuff. And there's enough of us everywhere to make these things profitable to run, and also it allows them to spread out their information. I'm going to be honest, and this EGX was probably one of those things where I tried out a load of games at that event. I think I brought more games since that event of all the ones I tried because they were on special. There were some games like, what? It's like, oh, I've played it. It's good. I like this. I'll buy it. I'm sure I've brought more games because from stuff I saw at the event that I probably wouldn't have picked up. I think like three-quarters of the booths I went and stopped at, I've now ended up buying the game. That's kind of how it's, and I think it's great. I mean, I think, so it's definitely, having been to one last year, and that was only the UK one, I'm sure E3 is a lot bigger. And obviously you've been to D23 and stuff, and I went to Star Wars Celebration last year. Having done 2 cons last year for the first time, I can see why people like going to them there.
Oh, yeah. And, it sounds like a good argument for companies bringing out demos again. Yeah. Let us play your bloody games so that we can, see if we like them or not before we buy them.
And if you're Nintendo, maybe don't restrict them to an hour a night with this loose Splatoon demo. It's like I'm looking at 2 hours a day at different 24 hours apart or 12 hours apart. Just give us the free. Just let us play all weekend. It's a portable device. Right? Okay, so I'm going to sit there between 7 and 7:59 and play the demo. It's just like, oh man, that's not the best way of trying to make us play a game. But anyway, I digress. On that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. Big thank you to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/DisneyKingdom. You really guys do help support the site, especially in terms of doing the hosting for like the audio versions and stuff like that. So that's great. So big thank you to everyone for chipping in over there. Where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on my website, heroiclegacy.com. And that's largely it now.
Yeah, that's cool. And also you can find us over at disneykingdom.com. You can find us on all the different social medias as well. And on that note, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.